Guys, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. Let's talk Litecoin. I haven't talked much about Litecoin lately. It's still in process. Everything Charlie and the Litecoin Foundation are doing is the right thing. It's always been the right thing. I just want to clarify something. Do you guys remember back in November, December of last year when Litecoin was going down near $20? All the FUD was coming out. All these experts in cryptocurrency says, Litecoin's useless. There's no use case for Litecoin. And I was screaming, what the fuck are you talking about? Litecoin has the ultimate use case, and that's as a means of exchange. That's what it was created for. That is what it's built for. And no, Bitcoin does not want that. We all know that Bitcoin wants to lock everything up into a store of value. Bitcoin maximalists, sorry, Tone and friends, just ain't gonna happen. You know, technology evolves, and I think Bitcoin will be that store of value because it has the first mover and it's very secure. But Litecoin is doing exactly what they said, Charlie said, and the Litecoin Foundation said it would do. It would be in position to take over for the banks when the banks fail. And when are the banks going to fail? It could be any day. Have you seen Deutsche Bank's price lately? Could be any day. And everybody will learn just how important Litecoin is to the future of humanity. And that's what I believe. And since the FUD days of, well, let's just look at the FUD days. It was November of 2013. I mean, of 2018. When all the FUD was coming out about Litecoin. And look what it's done since. So we're in the 20s and boom, we're in the 90s now. Clearly, price-wise, these experts didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. At least price-wise, right? Now, here's some of the articles. This was a classic, and Litecoin has no reason to exist, says prominent venture capitalist. Now, this was at Consensus 2018. Now we're at Consensus, I think Consensus, this was Consensus Invest. Anyway, it'll be interesting what this human being, Adriana Simpson, a venture capitalist, says this time. You know, will they ever say, oh my God, I got that completely wrong? No. They'll say, my investment in, EOS has done very well. Bullshit like that. Anyway, here's what was said in November. In discussion at the Consensus 2018, Adriana Simpson, a venture capitalist, and Lucas Nuzzi, a crypto researcher, spoke about the bear market and how Litecoin and how Charlie Lee, its founder, sold all his Litecoin at the peak. First of all, if you don't understand why Charlie sold all his Litecoin, you don't understand Charlie Lee, and you don't understand Litecoin, and you don't understand what he's trying to do. Had he not done that, he would have been the number one guy. They would have taken out Litecoin when the transition happens. The SEC would have said, you are directly associated with Litecoin. You're going to go to jail for selling a security and all that bullshit. Charlie erased all that bullshit simply by selling all his Litecoin. And everybody says, no, he's getting out because he doesn't like it. Charlie doesn't need money, first of all. He was buying Bitcoin when it was $30. Second of all, he took all that money and probably bought more Bitcoin. He kept it in cryptocurrencies. And third of all, Charlie's an honest guy, and he did what he said he was going to do. He's been working harder on Litecoin than he has ever worked on Litecoin. He's all in. He left Coinbase. That's all he does is Litecoin. And he said he was going to work on two things. One, the Lightning Network. Get it to a place where we can implement it, which is it is there. It is happening as we speak. And number two, atomic swaps to make Bitcoin and Litecoin seamless. So you could do a transaction in Litecoin and get change in Bitcoin and vice versa without going through the exchanges. That is so important. We know how criminal the exchanges are. If Charlie didn't believe in Litecoin, he wouldn't have done any of that. He'd be off on his island doing nothing. But that's not Charlie. Like I said 1,000,000 times, it's all about people behind these coins. Who are the people involved? What's the community like? There's no better community than the Litecoin community. I'll tell you, right, flat out, no better community than the Litecoin community. There's some good communities out there. There's no better one than Litecoin. And it's for honest reasons. Imagine that. So clearly this was pure FUD. This human being, or these human beings, Adriana Simpson and Lucas Nuzzi, know absolutely zero about what's happening in our monetary system. Absolutely zero. And here's another one from, it's just a post. This is why Litecoin has no future. So the way Litecoin works is it basically waits for Bitcoin to write the code for the new tech and port it to Litecoin. There are times it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yes, Litecoin and Bitcoin work hand in hand, but they're two separate things. Litecoin is trying to be that means of exchange that we need. The reason Satoshi invented Bitcoin was he knew the monetary system was not long for this world, and he knew what happened in 2008. Remember when the white paper was released 2 months after 2008? In 2008, September 11th, everything stopped. On September 11th, 2008, the world financial system froze up, and they had a matter of hours before everything was gone, and there was nowhere to go from there. And that's why Satoshi released the Bitcoin white paper, and that is the reason we've been working on this for 10 years, is that moment is going to come again, and when it does, we're going to need a means of exchange. Bitcoin has no desire. The Bitcoin core developers, the Bitcoin holders, they have no desire to be used as a means of exchange because it's another attack vector for their store value. Litecoin, that's all Litecoin wants to do, is to be there for humanity when it is needed the most. By saying that Litecoin has no future, completely misunderstands what's going to happen in the future. The future is a world where the banks crash because of the derivative problem and the criminality throughout the entire banking system. The future is no central banks. The future is cryptocurrencies as a means of exchange. There will be a lot of them. But because Litecoin for the past 5 years has strictly been working on this exact problem, it'll be the first mover. It'll have the first mover cachet that Bitcoin has, being the first cryptocurrency. Litecoin will be the first alternative to fiat money used as a means of exchange. That's why it's so important. And they're still working. Every day they're making it faster and cheaper and safer and more secure. Litecoin, LTC transactions fees fall by a factor of 10. They're already cheap, and now they're 10th is expensive. But that's the whole idea. Everything is going towards means of exchange. Litecoin has been creating headlines for being one of the best performing altcoins in 2019. Sorry, gurus who said Litecoin has no use. While the community has praised the comeback of the Bitcoin spinoff, LTC made headlines again after the launch of Litecoin Core 17.1. A blog post highlighted that the update was focused on user interface changes, a new wallet format, extended privacy features, and a significant network fee policy change. The new network fee policy is focused on reducing the minimum transaction cost by a factor of 10, reducing the transaction cost from 0.001 Litecoin to 0.0001 Litecoin. While Charlie Lee's coin hasn't been able to dominate the market, several experts have speculated that this development will allow Litecoin to capture a greater market share, as well as go on a wider adoption spree. Adoption. Litecoin thus expects traders to become more willing to invest in Litecoin, especially when compared to Bitcoin forks like Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV. Adrian Gallagher, a prominent Litecoin core developer, supported the decision by saying, quote, "The rationale was that the team and I decided that we wanted to make transaction fees cheaper for everyday use. Miners will still earn coins from the block reward despite a reduction in the fees they collect. There always needs to be a balancing of fees, otherwise the network is at risk of getting spammed. At the same time, we also want to make it cheap enough so users don't pay anything excessive for regular transactions or for participation in the Lightning Network. We hope to spur more adoption as time goes by. Further, the LTC ecosystem is also anticipating the halving in August 2019, a halving which will decrease the mining rewards from 25 to 12.5 coins. Now, you might think, well, the rewards go down. That's not good. No, that's a great thing. That's the deflation built in. Well, it's a slowing of the inflation. Obviously, as the amount of coins out there increases, that's inflationary. So it's just as, people like to say, oh, it's a deflationary currency. It's not deflationary. It's just they slow the inflation, over time. The halvings is expected to increase the coin's trading value. Absolutely. I don't know when. I can't tell you, 3 weeks before the halving is going to go up and then it's going to drop because the halving's over. I think it's all bull crap. A lot of manipulation goes on around halvings, but halvings are a good thing. Ultimately, halvings are what really drives the scarcity factor of cryptocurrencies. And scarcity is key. Have you run the numbers on EOS? 5% inflation compounded annually. You get to, 350 billion EOS coins will be created when Litecoin hits 84 million in 2130 or 40 or whatever that is. That's an inflationary currency. Hyperinflationary currency, actually. Well, they claim not to be a currency. So there you go. Anyway, the halving is coming up. When is the halving? August 6th. 83 days we're going to have the halving. And we'll be talking about the halving, and just talking about Litecoin in any context is a good thing. They're going to be talking more and more about the implementation of Lightning Network and how Litecoin will be the main driver of that, and is being built for Litecoin, actually, is what I'm hearing. And not only that, atomic swaps. Atomic swaps meaning you're not going to care if you have Bitcoin or Litecoin, because you can swap it instantly within the transaction without going through an exchange. What? Life without exchanges? Absolutely. Makes sense? I hope that all makes sense. Talk a little bit about atomic swaps. This is from an article, Atomic Swaps, Lightning Networks, and Litecoin. For now, Bitcoin remains the dominant coin in the cryptocurrency marketplace. While Litecoin is no longer number 2 or 3, those spots have been taken by Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash, but it still remains in the top 10. I don't know if, where are we right now? What number is Litecoin in the top 10? And that's as far as market cap. Litecoin is number 5, behind XRP, the Bankster coin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. EOS is dropping fast. I like that. If you haven't determined, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Again, I start with the people. And that's as far as I had to go for EOS. I think a lot of those people will be in jail because of the way they ran their ICO, or other reasons. Tether and Bitfinex and all that. Anyway, background. Bitcoin for the majority of last year was suffering through many forks. Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold. One reason Bitcoin Core was having issues with scaling. They were trying to find a solution to that problem. Some solutions were SegWit or raising the block size limit. Ultimately, Bitcoin Core implemented SegWit, but nothing else. That's true. They basically stopped there because they don't want to do anything else. They don't want to do anything else. They would rather have Litecoin take over the mantle as the means of exchange. And they're working with Charlie Lee's group and the Litecoin Foundation and the core developers of Bitcoin and Litecoin. While network fees have dropped down to a few dollars, it's still about 100 times more than Litecoin transaction fees. However, Charlie Lee, Litecoin's glorious creator, decided to implement SegWit on Litecoin, which gives the ability for Litecoin to perform atomic swaps with Bitcoin and other cryptos. This is an old article. No wonder. That's all right. Yes, the SegWit is implemented on Bitcoin. Atomic swaps, for now, if someone wants to trade Bitcoin for Litecoin, you have to pass through a cryptocurrency exchange, trade with a real person, or purchase at a Litecoin ATM. Storing funds on online exchange pose risks for long-term holders and serious investors. Oh my God, do they ever? And we know how criminal these exchanges are now. It's far safer to use cold storage wallet or buy a hardware wallet. But with atomic swaps, anyone is able to trade their coins with another person without using an exchange. Atomic swaps are a means of decentralizing exchanges down to the individual level. And even better, the atomic swap happens in a matter of seconds. That is what Charlie's been working on since he sold all his Litecoin. Lightning Network, atomic swaps, and security. And anonymity. And all these are coming. And yes, it's been a long trudge. A very long trudge. But it's all happening. And here's the latest. Litecoin Lightning Network could get one-click atomic swaps soon. Litecoin is a popular peer-to-peer currency, blah, 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 blah. In order to take Litecoin forward in terms of functionality, Litecoin Foundation has announced a partnership with blockchain developers X9. One of the aims of the partnership will be the introduction of one-click atomic swap capability to the Lightning Network. X9 are leading developers in blockchain and decentralized domain. The atomic swap is going to be just one goal of this partnership, with Litecoin Foundation hoping to improve the maintenance and debugging of Litecoin and developing new technologies for its Lightning Network. X9 do not specialize in a particular blockchain and are instead blockchain agnostic, meaning they can work on different blockchain protocols. Of course, the real headline-grabbing portion of this announcement is the possibility of one-click atomic swaps coming to the Lightning Network. If you're not familiar with this game-changing technology, let's explain. One-click atomic swaps. Simply put, atomic swaps are smart contracts to facilitate the exchange of different cryptocurrencies and tokens between two parties without the risk of one party pulling out of the trade. There's no need for trust between the two parties, and atomic swaps happen without the interference or need for a third party or escrow manager. Thanks to this technology, there is no risk of losing your cryptocurrency, as there will be no transfer of tokens before the complete swap is carried out. The term atomic is used here because the trade will either happen or it won't. There is no middle ground involved here, as the tokens will be swapped as a whole. Anyone who's bought or sold Bitcoin will be well aware of the trading fees that go along with it. With mass adoption of the atomic swap across different cryptocurrencies and blockchains, those fees could be a thing of the past. All the problems of the past are being fixed. And Charlie Lee's on the forefront of that. And the Lightning Network, and the Litecoin community, and the Litecoin Foundation. Atomic swaps enable cross-chain cryptocurrency trading, atomically of course, without any third party, and there are trading fees involved. An important point to note regarding atomic swaps is that, as for now, they are not user-friendly. You have to be really technically proficient to carry these out. As such, atomic swaps will be offered as a service by businesses that implement this technology. Thus, it's fair to assume that there will be a small fee associated with these. But that should be considerably lower than the trading fees we're used to. Atomic swaps will completely change how cryptocurrency trading is done, and for the better, absolutely. Technology can be utilized by anyone, no matter the size of the trade. Then it talks about how it's done. So yeah, those people who said Litecoin was dead, there's no use case for Litecoin, they have been proven wrong. Price-wise, obviously, Litecoin's gone up 4x since they said that. 4 times. I hope they have a big apology ready for people. Anyway, yes, I think Litecoin has some real room to run. I think ultimately it will go 4-1 to Bitcoin. Not even ultimately. I think within probably 2 years, we're looking at 4-1 with Bitcoin. So if you have positive thoughts about Bitcoin going to, 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 100,000 over the next year or two, Litecoin jumping to 4-1, you got an extra 10x on top of that. Is it 10x? Let's see. Right now it's $90. So Litecoin's at $90 and Bitcoin's at 8,000. At 4-1, we should be up at 2,000, right? So no matter what, if we do get 4-1, actually when we do get 4-1, Litecoin to Bitcoin, obviously it'll happen when the banks start to falter and Litecoin is needed as a means of exchange. So we'll get 4-1. it's gonna. So Litecoin would go up. What would be that? It would be 200 times more than Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin goes up. Is it 200? No, it's 20 times more than Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin triples, Litecoin will go up 20 times that if it goes to 4-to-1. Better check my math on that. Well, let's just look. Yeah, 20. 23 times. Because right now, at 4-to-1, Bitcoin and Litecoin, that's $2,000 Litecoin. And now it sits at 90. So you see the thinking behind, looking at the future of Litecoin. It's not about, it can do this tomorrow. It's about what will we need in the future for humanity if the banks go down, if the banks wobble, if there is massive crypto adoption, which are the best coins to use as a means of exchange. Litecoin has first mover. It won the first mover on means of exchange. Anybody you ask who's honest in cryptocurrencies will tell you that Litecoin was the first one to really go after that means of exchange. There's others that are going after it and claim to be better now, but we're talking about the future. I don't care how fast Bitcoin Cash is right now. In the future, how fast will it be? And I think Charlie did the right thing by planning for the future. But I do like Bitcoin Cash, and yeah, it will do well. And Dash and Digibyte, they'll all do well. Is my opinion, and what Charlie's been working on is that Litecoin will be the number one means of exchange. And so far, it is definitely the leader out of the gates. And for something to overtake it, it would take a lot for the future. Remember, this is about the future. Litecoin's about the future. All right, that's your update on Litecoin. Yes, it's a screaming buy at $90. It should be $2,000 today at 4-to-1. But that's when the banks start crashing. Now, I'll go do another video and talk about the crashing banks that I've been talking about for 25 years now, and why they're being allowed to be supported for so long, and why they're going away. Good guys versus bad guys. I'll talk to you guys later.